This call is now being recorded.
We will start the event. Huh?
Okay,
We will admit people and students as and how they join.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone. Google Developer Student Club of Bharati Vidyapit College of Engineering, Navi Mumbai welcomes you all present here in this second event of machine learning. I am Mayuresh Kulkarni, founder and lead of this Google chapter, and will be one of the hosts along with technical team too. Today is the second day of machine learning events, and it is about creating a Google Lens clone. We will be starting from scratch and give you a detailed explanation about how the real Google Lens works and how our clone works. We will be discussing about the APIs used, how to set up the Firebase in your project, and add the vision dependency. Then implement camera functionality in your app, and at last, how to use Bitmap to make the API call. A gentle reminder for everyone present here, please make sure that you have registered for the event through the GDSC event platform. It is important for you to RSVP this event through the platform because we will use this list to distribute the certificates. We will also be circulating a feedback form, and we will match the entries of the platform as well as the feedback form and then distribute the certificates. I will send the link of registration in a few minutes in the chat. You can use that to register. Now I will hand over to Aishwarya Tupe. She is the speaker for today's event. Aishwarya is a member of GDSC and is currently handling the machine learning and artificial intelligence domain along with Anish Gupta and Himanshu Bobde, which we all got introduced to yesterday. And these guys are from technical team too. She is a final year student of computer engineering from our college, and we are very happy to have you, Aishwarya, and wish you best of luck for this event. Over to you now.
Thank you, Mayuresh. So, good afternoon, folks. Before we start, I would like to recommend you that if you want to code with me side by side, then install Android Studio and see to it that you have Java 11. Keep in mind that Android Studio is a resource hungry program. So, join this meet via your mobile and use this laptop for coding purposes only. You, huh. So, to brief you about today's agenda, we will be learning about what's Google Lens, then how really a Google Lens work, what's Firebase ML Kit. Yesterday we learned about how to train and test a custom model. So today we will be using pre-trained model, which is image labeling model. We will talk about what are the services used for detecting an object in the image and also about search APIs for getting the result for that particular object. We will be starting off with the introduction to Google Lens and Google Lens clone. How does Google Lens use Google Knowledge Graph, Region Proposal Network, Neural Machine Translation, and DeepMind's WaveNet? And then we will be building our Google Lens clone. So, what is a Google Lens and what is the idea behind Google Lens becoming so powerful? Um, So we all know that the increasing power of AI, ML, NLP made Google Lens stronger. To dive deeper into it, let's see few jargons which is related to Google Lens clone, which help Google Lens power itself. So coming to the Google Knowledge Graph, by the official definition, it means that it is a knowledge base of entities and relationships between them. But what exactly is a Google Knowledge Graph? It's like you searching for a particular thing and then finding more information about it because there are so many other things connected to it. Let's take an example. Here in the movie Star Wars, actor Harrison Ford has the character of Han Solo, and this character is male. So, coming to the technical definition, Star Wars, Harrison Ford, and male are entities, whereas actor, character, and gender are relationships. Next power booster is RPN, also known as Region Proposal Network. So according to the official definition or explanation, it is like RPN is a fully convolutional network that simultaneously predicts object bounds and objectness scores at each position. RPN is trained to generate high quality region proposals, which are used by fast RCNN for detection. In short, its component tells the unified network where to look. Let's take an example. So if you recall the idea of sliding window, and for those who don't know what sliding window is, it's just like if you see the blue box here, it's a window. So that window will slide across the entire image and will recognize the regions. So if you know sliding windows, or if you recall sliding windows, you would take a trained classifier and run it across all of these different windows and run a detector to see if there is a car or pedestrian or motorcycle. The downside of CNN algorithm is that it just classifies a lot of regions where there are clearly no objects, like you can see in image 2. This square at the bottom has absolutely nothing to classify. Same for the above square. So some people came together and proposed this region proposal network, which tries to pick a few regions and makes sense to run your code and detect objects. They run an algorithm called a segmentation algorithm that results in the output on the right. So here, when the regions marked in the blue are taken into consideration, the woman is identified, or if cyan is taken into consideration, the car would be identified. Next, what we have is neural machine translation algorithms. So before diving into this, let's first talk about phrase-based translation model. So PBMT translates a sentence word by word. You may think it's fine because it is translating just fine, but what about complicated sentences? When there are complex sentences, you try to translate them, you lose context. You may get an incorrect or poor translation. However, neural machine translation algorithm, or neural machine translation NMT, is a new approach to machine translation where a computer uses deep learning to build an artificial neural network to teach itself how to translate between languages. It uses this neural network to translate entire sentences without breaking them into smaller parts. Another tool that power ups the Google Lens is DeepMind's WaveNet. So it is a deep neural network for generating raw audio. It is able to generate relatively realistic sounding human like voices by directly modeling waveforms using a neural network method trained with recordings of real speech, like real speech. So, WaveNet's ability to generate raw waveforms means that it can model any kind of audio, including music. So basically, the robotic voice which we hear of Alexa, Siri, or of Google Assistant is because of DeepMind's WaveNet. Let us take 2 to 5 minutes break in here if you have any doubt, if you want me to repeat anything or explain anything. Any doubts? Okay. Okay.
No.
So finally, developing Google Lens clone. Let's first discuss about MLKit. So MLKit has three main properties. Firstly, it is optimized for mobile. That is, MLKit's processing happens on device. Secondly, it is built with Google's expertise, which implies that it takes advantages of the machine learning technologies that powers Google's own experiences on mobile. Moreover, it is easy to use. So Google combines best-in-class machine learning models with advanced processing pipelines and offers these through easy-to-use APIs to enable powerful use cases in your apps. There are many vision APIs that MLKit has. Video and image analysis APIs to label images. Different vision APIs are barcode scanning, face detection, image labeling, object detection and tracking. Then we have pose detection, segmentation, and there are many others. So out of these, we'll be using image labeling. With MLKit's image labeling APIs, you can recognize entities in an image without having to provide any additional contextual metadata, either using an on-device API or a cloud-based API. In our case, we will be using on-device API. Image labeling gives you an insight into the content of images. When you use the API, you get a list of the entities that were recognized: people, things, places, anything. So each label found comes with a score that indicates the confidence the ML model has in its relevance. With this information, you can perform tasks like automatic metadata generation and content moderation. So that's enough theory for today. Let's get into coding. So our first three steps will be creating a new project, then we'll connect the project with Firebase and we'll add dependencies. So open your Android Studio and click on File, New, oops, New Project. Select Empty Activity. Next, the name of your application, Google Lens clone. I'll be using Java. You can use Kotlin, as in like whatever you like, whichever language you are comfortable with, and click on Finish. Okay, our Gradle is building. And our project is ready. So we have two files here: activity underscore main.xml and main activity.java. Activity underscore main.xml is the file which will help you design the UI of your app, like how your AI how your app exactly looks like. And main activity.java will deal with the functionality of your app. It's just like if you have some experience in web development, it is like HTML CSS is activity underscore main.xml and JavaScript is main activity.java. So first we'll go to res and layout, values, and colors.xml. We'll have some colors modified because of course we want our application to look good. Control AV. Quite self-explanatory. It's just the names of the colors that we have updated. Then we have to connect our application with Firebase. So for that, search Firebase, go to console and add new project, enter the name of your project, Google Lens clone app, continue, default account for Firebase, create project. Please wait till your project is complete or created. And finishing up. And continue. So now we are integrating it with Android. So click on Android. You have to give the package name. So this is your package name. Copy your package name. Name of your app. Register your app. Now you have to download the Google services.json file. Go to your project, Google Lens clone, click on Android project, app. You have to paste the file inside your app folder. Oh, sorry. I have not yet copied that. Okay, so downloads, copy, apps, paste. Keep in mind that you have to keep the name of your file as google services.json, otherwise it will give you errors. Okay, now that's done. Now we'll add some dependencies. Go to Android, Gradle scripts, and dependencies. First, we'll connect the Firebase with the project. So for that, tools, okay, Firebase ML, recognize and label images, add ML Firebase ML to your app, accept changes. Okay, now we have to update the Firebase ML Vision to 24.0.3 because it will give you error if you don't update it. And please keep the dependencies same. Dependencies are like additional libraries which you want to use in your applications. So Firebase ML Vision, then Firebase, Firebase Core, in 0.2. Then we'll be using Firebase ML Vision image label model 20.0.1. We will also be using the library Volley for JSON parsing. You can also use retrofit com.android.volley 1.1.1. So I suppose we have ML Vision, we have Firebase Core, we have ML Vision, Firebase ML Vision image label model 20.0.1. Then we have Volley. And click on sync now. And our build is ready. Now we have completed the first 3 steps. Now we'll move on to adding some permissions because of course our application will be using camera and internet, and then we will create the UI and then we'll create model class and adapter class. So coming to the Android manifest.xml, we'll first have our permissions, users permissions, camera, then internet, users permission, internet, and we'll be using camera features. So users feature name, camera, and Android required true. Then we will be adding the metadata below the activity tab. So metadata, Android name, form.google.firebase, ML Vision dependencies, and Android value as label. And we are done with the Android manifest.xml wherein we added metadata and permissions. Done. Now coming to the activity underscore main dot xml file, wherein we'll be developing the UI of our application. Now we don't want to go into in depth of Android because our main purpose is to create the clone and learn about Firebase ML, like how we use Firebase ML API, Vision APIs, pre-trained model image labeling. So for that, paste and okay. So match pay like if you don't know Android Studio, please look into the documentations. I'll give my best to explain as much as I can. So for the match parent thing, if you have image view and you have and inside your relative layout, so relative layout is kind of like a parent to image view. So if the uh, size of relative layout is 30 dp and image view has layout width as match parent, so the width of image view will be equivalent to the width layout width of relative view. And in the wrap content part, it means that the um, views inside your application will adjust according to the according to the space provided. So that's that. And then here in the activity underscore main.xml, first we'll be creating image view for our camera. Wait a second. Yeah. So image view. Okay. I have downloaded two files in here, two images, scanner underscore 1 and scanner underscore 2. I'll be pasting it in the drawable folder. Uh, okay. Okay. Huh. Now, scanner 1 and scanner 2 images. So this image is for the image part, like while taking the snapshot of the image, we'll be using this scanner 2. So here it will be scanner 2, and scanner 1 is the image for our icon. So for icon, again, Android manifest, and here we have an Android round icon. So here we'll be pasting the image of our icon. Like our icon will look this way. So yeah, scanner underscore 1. Done. Scanner underscore 2 will be for the image part. Okay. So scanner underscore 2, our image part is done. Now for the linear layout, these things are pretty much self-explanatory, that the margin will start at 10 dp, margin start as 10 dp, top margin will be 10 dp. This part is explained. This part I'll be coming to when we'll start with the main activity.java file. We have two buttons. So first let's create a back button, new drawable resource, button back, button underscore back, selector as shape, and click on OK. This is nothing, just we are like so that our apps look good. That's the reason why we are doing this. Nothing else. So coming to our control A, control B. Done. So when we use backbutton.xml for our buttons will look this way. And for the prompt thing, go to design, click on the button. Wait a second. Attributes, buttons, search for font. You can give any font as in whatever you like. Font. ID declared as LL buttons, layout, visibility, transforms. Okay. 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 Hmm. Font family, select more fonts. We'll be using prompt in our case. You can use any other font as in what you like, and there we go. So coming to the coding part, back button underscore back implied that the color is light blue and you have radius as 20 dp, quite self-explanatory, and that we have added to both of the buttons, button snap and snap button and get search results button. This is how our apps, the UI of our apps app looks like right at now, like now. Coming to the progress bar, will be we will be having like now it's gone, but later on when we will click on the snap button, we want the progress bar to load. So this part will come later on, and this is the recycler view wherein we will get dynamic search results, like as and when as the image changes, we'll get different search results for that particular image. So we are done with the activity underscore main.xml. Now coming to the main activity.java. Here first we will create variables, private image view, capture image view, and private button, get search results button, recycler view, results RV, and we have declared the variables. Now we will initialize them. So iv is equal to find view by id r dot id dot image, because we have used the image semicolon. For activity underscore main dot xml, we are using image id as image, id as image. So to tell our main activity.java file that we are focusing on this part, we the image which will be captured in here will be inside the variable capture id. Similarly for snap button is equal to find view by id r, that is the resource file wherein we all have all the resources, id, and then id v10 snap semicolon, get search results button, find view by id, v10 results, and last we have our recycler view, find view by id r dot id dot IDRV search results. Now let's look at the APIs that we are going to use. So we'll be using SERP API. If you search SERP API on Google, SERP API, go to their official website. Here you'll get a sign-in option. So first sign in, and then you'll get to your dashboard. Here you have your private API key. SERP API is a real-time API to access Google search results, and it handles proxies, solves captchas, and parses all rich structured data for us. You can use any other Google search API like SERP API or Oxylabs or AP5 or any other API, as in like whatever you like. Coming to the Postman, I already added the URL. I have already added the API and the Postman. For those who don't know what Postman is, it is an API development tool that helps us to build, test, and modify APIs, and almost all any functionality that could be needed by any developer in and is encapsulated in this tool. It has the ability to make various types of HTTP requests, get, post, put, patch, delete, any request. We'll be using get request, and so you can use any other parameters. Like if you go to the Google search API documentation, the query is required, but all other things are optional. So you can use local location, region, language, and other parameters. So first we'll send the request for our URL. Okay, and then we have the responses. We have many JSON objects in here. We will be using organic results. Organic results here. So in organic results, we'll be using title, link, displayed link, and snippet. So first we will create the UI for our recycler view for this part. Like we have different items in here, right? So for that, first we will go to layout, new layout resource file, type the name of the file, search results rv item, because we will be using this layout for each and every item. And then for this part, we'll be using cards, and okay, split view. Okay, again, we don't want to dive deeper into the Android part, so copy. So this is the layout of our recycler view, the title, snippet, and description. This is what should be in here. Um, okay, we have 3 text views: first for the title, second for the snippet, and third for the description. Description will give max lines 3. We don't want to overwrite things, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's quite self-explanatory. Then coming to the adapter and model class. So first we will be creating the model class, new Java class. Search r t model dot java. Okay, here we have to create codes. We have to create variables. So for that, private string title, private string link. Then we had displayed link and snippet. So model class, Model class would usually be a set of classes that holds your data and business logic. And it mainly comprises of three things: constructors, getters, and setters. So first we will create constructors, generate constructor, select all, okay, and then we will be creating getter and setter methods. Control A, okay. Constructor, it is a bridge between model and adapter class. Getter methods, this method is used for getting values of any property. So for getting the values of title, link, displayed link, and snippet, and we'll get the title and then we'll set the title, and similarly all other variables. So when a user asks for an information through the view, so view goes to controller and controller notifies the model, then model gives that information to controller and controller notifies the view about the information so the user can see that information. And now we are done with the model class. We will create adapter class, new Java class, search rv adapter dot java. We will extend this class with recycler view for adapter, data type. Oops. Search rb adapter dot view holder. Then we will implement methods. Adapter class, we create adapter class for getting data from the model and show it on the view for the user. So like an adapter acts as an overpass between adapter view and the underlying data for that view. The adapter view provides access to that data items and is answerable for creating a view for each item in the data set. Adapters are good way to connect the view with the with the with that kind that kind of data. Like for title, we'll have the data which is in the title format. Like we'll see when we'll see the output, I'll be able to explain it more clearly. Coming to the coming to next part, yeah, okay, we have implemented methods. Now we'll create inner class. So create another class, and then first we will change this to public, then our view holder will extend with recycler view dot view holder, create constructor. First we will create variables. So private text view, title text view, snippet text view, BSC text view. And now we will initialize the variables. Title text view is equal to item view dot find view by ID, r dot id dot tv tv title, copy, paste, paste. Title tv, then snippet tv, then our description, snippet, and description. So here we are done with the view view holder. Then coming up to the research RV adapter extends class. Here we will be here we will be creating two variables. So private context and enter array list search RV model search RV models. So context is used for access to application specific resources and classes, as well as calls for application level operations such as launching activities or broadcasting and receiving intents and similar things. And array list provides resizable array, which means that items can be added and removed from the list. It implements the list interface. So now that we have created, we will first create constructors. Okay, and now inside the on create view folder third, here we will be creating view for the users. So we will have to implement this layout over here. So for that, um, view is equal to, we will be using layout inflator dot from context dot inflate r dot layout dot search RV item parent comma um, and semicolon, and then we will be returning new view holder view. Now inside the get item count, here we have to return the size of our dataset. Search RV models dot size. Done. Now we will set data with our text views. So for that, in the onBind view holder method, we have to get data from the array list, then set it to a text view. So for that, search RV model is equal to dot get position. Then we will be using holder dot title TV dot set text search RV model dot get title, and similarly for snippet and description. So snippet, here we will get the link semicolon, oops. And for description we had, because for our description part is in the snippet. So for that our description TV will get the text from snippet. After that, we now will be adding an on-click listener. So holder dot on-click listener, because after clicking that particular item, we should go to our web browser. Like we should have all the search results. So for that, holder item view dot set on click listener, new view, view dot on click listener. Okay. Now we have to create an intent and we have to view this intent. So first we'll create an intent I is equal to new intent dot, we have to view it, so action dot view. Then I dot set data, we have to parse the URI, so URI parse, search rv model dot get link, and we have to start the activity, so start activity I. Then now yeah, we are done with the adapter.java class. Now coming to the main activity.java file. Here we will first initialize the variables. So first private search rv model rv adapter, search rv adapter, private data type is search rv model, search rv model array list, and also for the progress bar, loading pb. Now we will initialize these variables. So loading pb is equal to find view by id r dot id dot is equal to find view by id r dot id dot sorry, we have to initialize the array for that array list, semicolon. Then search rv adapter is equal to new this comma search rv this array, semicolon. We have to set the layout manager. For that, set layout manager, new linear layout manager, main activity dot this, comma, linear layout manager dot horizontal, comma, now we will make two on-click listeners, one for our snap button and other for the get search results button. So For the snap button dot set on click listener, new view on click listener, search RV model array list dot clear. First will clear, then we will notify the adapter that our data is changed. So for that, dot notify data has changed, and then we will click the picture. So for that, we will create a method take picture intent. The other method, get search results method dot set on click listener, new. Okay. So first we will create the method take picture intent. For that, um, private void take picture intent. In this method, we will be calling an intent to capture our image. So for that intent, I is equal to new intent media store dot action image capture. Then if I dot resolve activity get package manager is not equal to null, then start activity for results. I comma request code. We will declare the variable in here private is equal to 1. Then for getting an image from the image intent, we will have to use activity result method, and in this method we will check if the request code is equal to result code. So for that, detected on activity result, here if the request code is equal to our result request code result, and if our result code is equal to result okay, then we will have we'll call bundle extras is equal to data dot get extras. So also for having Also, for getting the image, we will have to first create a variable image bitmap. So for that, private bitmap built in the image bitmap. So here image bitmap is equal to bitmap extras dot get data semicolon. We will be getting the bitmap of the image which we recently captured, and then for we have to now save the image so to our image view. So for that, capture image view dot set image bitmap, and done. Now we have to create one more method to detect the object from that image. For this, we have to create a method get results that will get the results for that particular object. Results as in the image detection part. So let's create the method private void get results. Here we will call Firebase Vision image is equal to Firebase Vision image dot from bitmap image bitmap. Uh, then we will have to call Firebase Vision image labeler is equal to get instance dot oh. So now we will now process our image by calling the image labeler dot process image. So for that, labeler dot process image, we'll give the variable, then have two additional methods, that is add on success listener, new on success listener. So inside the on success method, we will be creating a string that is search query, and we will be passing this query to get search results. Therefore, string search query is equal to Firebase Vision image dot get 0 dot get text. And now we will be calling the get search results method and pass the query. So search query. We will also add on failure listener, new on failure listener, and here we will be displaying the error message. So for that, we will create a toast, main activity dot this, and the message that will display will be fail to detect image. Now let's create the get search results method. So for that, oh yeah, first we have created get results, right? So in here we will first clear our array or clear, then we will notify the adapter that our data set has been changed, so notified data has been changed. And then we will also set the progress bar as visible. View dot visible. And then we will be calling get results method. Done. Now we will create the get search results method. For that, firstly we will private void get search results. Now we will create string. First, let's have our API key here. So API key is equal to copy pasting it from here. So um, copy, paste. Then we will be creating the URL. So string URL is equal to here we have the query as search query. So plus search query. Search query, search query. Done. Now next we will be creating variables for a request queue. So request queue is equal to volley dot new request queue in activity dot this we will be using this for JSON parsing. So now we have to make JSON object request. So for that, JSON object request is equal to new JSON object request dot method dot get, because we want get request, and then we will be passing parameters like our URL, then null, and new response listener. Here first we will be adding new response dot error listener. So public on error on response method, we will be getting the response. So we will have to add the error listener, and therefore public void on error response volley error. Here we will be displaying a toast message at main activity dot this no results found for the search query, and then we will be adding the JSON object to request to our queue. So for that, queue dot add JSON object request, and here we have request queue. I think I missed something. Okay. So for this part, initializing the strings. So for that, creating variables private, string, title, link, displayed link, and snippet. Uh, Wait a second. Snippet. Okay. Huh. Okay. So now, first we created the variable queue for our request queue. We called JSON object request. Now on response, first we will be setting the visibility as gone. Then we will validate if the org obj is title, like the in the for loop, and then after getting all the data, we will add it to our search RV model array list, and then on for the error listener part. So in this on response method, we will be getting the response. So we also have to add the error listener, and in this we will be displaying the toast message as no results found for the search query. And I suppose the entire Google Lens clone has been developed. And first we will to first we have to connect your laptop with your mobile. So and then you have to uh, you have to search on Google, like every mobile is different, so you will have something known as developers option. You'll have to enable that, and you have to also enable the USB debugging. After connecting your mobile, you'll have the option as get Android Auto option, so you have to click on that option. Then after that, uh, Android Studio will recognize your mobile. You'll have to run your project, and this will be executing tasks. and our build is successful. Now you have the option as install or deny. You'll get it in your phone. And wait a second. So share screen. Okay, now this is my mobile, and here I have downloaded the Google Lens clone. So you're also we are also getting the option here, like message here that launch is successful. And okay, now we click on snap. Okay, oh no, wait, for first we'll have to go in the app info, then we have to enable the camera part. Done, because we have required option for camera. Snap. Okay, now Redmi 9, get search results. uh, loading. Okay, I think I have some internet issues. Okay, no, we have the object detection as musical instrument. Then again for the mobile part, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
um I think my screen is freezed. Okay, couldn't connect.
Yeah, your mobile screen is frozen, but but it's visible.
Okay, I think now it's visible. So uh, mhm. Tick mark, get results, and shoes. Like the detection of the image is shoes. Like the image has successfully detected the shoes image. And the and for the musical instrument. And then again, oops, the mobile part. Ah, sorry. Get search results. Cell phones, mobile phones. You can click on the link and it will redirect you. Similarly for musical instruments. And we have successfully completed cloning the Google Lens clone. Any doubts?
Yes, Aishwarya. Is it possible to implement any other sort of pre-trained model?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can use face detection, and you'll be able to detect whether, whether the front person has, if he has the mask on or not, or some other, like you can also use it for checking the attendance. You give the pre-trained model as object detection. You will use the face recognition model, and you'll see if like whenever you enter the classroom, you'll have that thing attendance wala thing, and you'll just have to show your image. Like you'll have to stand in front of the camera, and the app will detect if you are there, and it will mark you as present. So you can use different vision APIs, other different vision APIs.
So, like, are they a part of that ML kit?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that helps.
So um is that it? Mayush, and the
Yes.
recording
Yes.
stop
Yes.
the recording.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. It was a wonderful session. We all surely got to know so much about deploying a pre-trained machine learning model with Android application. I do hope after today's session we all got the gist of executing machine learning algorithms. I hope all the cybersecurity events along with machine learning events were helpful to you. If anyone encounters any doubt, please feel free to ask us in person. We do we do hope you all keep participating actively in our future events. We are always ready to help and mentor. The feedback for today's session is also will be mentioned in the chat box or will be circulated in your classrooms. Do fill it. It's mandatory for the certificates. Thank you so much everyone. See you soon.